The challenge was that they weren't asking for a typical elbow song as much as a sports theme tune. We knew it would sound like us because that's unavoidable, because we're doing it. But we didn't want it to be an elbow song as such.
We came in this room and we said, right, OK, we've got to write a song for the BBC, for the Olympics. We just sat around and started going.
Drumming on our legs, just an exciting, compulsive sort of rhythm. And we moved from there, really.
We knew it had to be huge and anthemic and over the top.
I've only seen storyboards to the animation, so we're looking forward to seeing all that as well.
We knew Elbow was doing it, and that was going to be anthemic. I did 2 sketches really quickly that really came to mind. There was a profile image of a lock with a giant diving platform and a very small diver on it. And then the other shot that I sketched was the sprinters in the blocks. We didn't want to go superhero. We wanted to kind of tread a new ground between being fantasy, superhero, but being real. And we wanted to pay the athletes kind of as much respect as possible. The visual end frame summed up the overall idea. It was the coming together of all of the UK as viewers of the Olympics.
We've never been asked to do anything like this at all, really. Nothing this big. I think maybe it's the closer it's getting, the Olympics, you realise what a massive thing for the country it is.
Can I introduce Guy Garvey and Craig Potter from Elbow?
It's by far the biggest orchestra we've worked with, the Philharmonic, yeah. The first idea was mine. The first thing you hear should be a brass fanfare. The first 5 notes were to represent the 5 rings, and that was just somewhere to start.
Almost a call to arms, you know, if you hear it on the TV, people, you know, they need to know that that's the Olympic song, let's go and watch the Olympics.
The decision to sort of involve a choir as well was just to make it more everyman. There isn't a sound that encapsulates that more than a gospel choir. Losing it. Listen, don't listen to each other, listen to the click. The lyrics of the song are actually about parents watching their kids' first steps, because, as you can probably tell, I've absolutely no experience of athletics of any kind. It was during the writing of the track that Pete's baby daughter, Martha, walked for the first time. And we all got this video that he'd taken on his phone. And I was thinking, actually, this moment has got lots and lots of human elements to it. They're proud of her. It's about their hopes for her being realised. And it just seemed to fit if I really simply wrote the lyrics about feelings of pride and also that, you know, we're with you, that element. That's kind of related to what's happening when you're backing your team or when you're willing an athlete to win.
Who was first was always going to be a sprinter, and then you kind of would balance that with a swimmer, you know, to be fair. So that represents the Olympics and sport quite well. We introduced a weightlifter. He could kind of represent a bigger version of everybody else that was going on. Then we went, okay, so who's the small athlete that kind of counterbalances the big, strong weightlifter? So we looked at the gymnastics, and we went for a very tiny gymnastic girl. We liked the finish and the success in her eyes and her happiness. We definitely wanted to bring personality to these characters as well.
There's far more losers than winners, really. So we felt it needed something that was reassuring and sympathetic, but had a tint of sadness to it, you know, because that's the place not to lose, isn't it, for an athlete at the Olympics.
We called it the love theme at one point, but it doesn't really suit it because it's more the loser's theme, I suppose you could call it.
But me and my drummer, Jupp, whenever the theme came up, we were sort of doing that at each other.
Now we're trying to tell a story. So that story comes from the script, from the agency, and then we do an interpretation of that. There's a classic 3-act structure to athletics, and if you took sprinting, there's the waiting, there's the gun that goes off, there's the running, and then there's the finish line. Although we kept that kind of 3-act structure, this is really where Elbow's music comes into it, because it's got an emotional arc to it. There's ups and downs, and you can feel and you can see what's going on. The classic thing would have been sunny blue skies for the Summer Olympics. Really what we wanted to get was a little bit of mood, a little bit of grit into it, kind of overcast skies, with sun kind of breaking through gaps.
The best outcome for us is that people watch what's going to unfold, the drama that's going to unfold, and they don't notice the music. The piece of music was designed to accompany the Olympics. This ridiculous endeavour on part of all these people. This is the high point of most of their lives. So we got the music to a place where we were feeling very emotional. Having heard it 100 times, we were still feeling the moods within the piece. And so hopefully there won't be a dry eye in the country.
I'm really proud to have lived here for such a long time and have a vision of what I love about London and the UK. I've worked on the 3rd, 4th floor of this building for ages, and I look out the window constantly, and I can look down to the street and I can be completely inspired by the people walking past, or the pub across the road, or I can see all the chimney stacks. I look out there and I love it. The lighting changes constantly. I find that really inspiring.
All the hope expressed in the vocal, which is kind of preemptive feelings about the beginning of the games and the sort of all the people coming together for one thing, which is a great thing. This sort of noble fanfare, which is to do with the heritage and the tradition of it, and people being the best they can be in their field. And then this theme for people who've tried and failed, a sympathetic theme for them, all come together in one big anthem at the end. And we really decided that it couldn't be big enough, really. It had to be like a really grand ending. And it seemed like we added something to the climax on a weekly basis until it was time to record it with the orchestra. And it sounded great. Well done, mate.
Well done.
I was sat in Media City waiting for somebody, and the background music in the lobby was all the BBC sports themes. So Ski Sunday and Grandstand and all these things. And I was thinking, this is a weird coincidence. And I thought, no, this is where BBC Sports are based now. I get it now. But it was really encouraging that, because I thought, yeah, this stands up with those. I mean, it's never going to beat Ski Sunday, though, is it?